Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you guys my Combat Star Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile for post Battles of Legend Relentless Revenge. This is one of the more strange but pretty cool still Yu-Gi-Oh! Decks that we received in the booster pack. This is for Iggy Arlo, I believe was his name, in Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5, in which he used this deck against Yugioh, both of the times, one in the Dual School tournament and then one later in the Fusion arc. It's a very interesting deck. It focuses around fusion summoning and getting out high level warrior monsters, all of them revolving around level 5, just for big boosts, and then I think basically burn damage and heavy assault onto your opponent. So it's pretty interesting. I tried my best to make a pure version of the deck. I didn't really want to stick to Gokis or anything like that. I wanted to go, like I said, with most of my decks, as pure as possible. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So to start off, I run 3 Hayate, the Earth Star. All the star monsters in this deck are level 5, and they all run around each other. If your opponent controls a monster, and if you control a light monster, you can normal summon this card without tributing. If this card is normal or special summon, you can special summon one level 5 light warrior monster from your hand. You can only use this effect of Hayate, the Earth Star, once per turn, and once per turn when your warrior monster is targeted for an attack, you can make this attack gain exactly 500 attack, and if you do, negate the attack. So basically it loses 500 attack and then negate the attack, so good protection on your end with this card for sure. And the fact that you can get out plenty of the warrior monsters just for field spam means you can also go for some link summons, or you can go for basically an exceed summon, depending on what you want to do for that situation. I also run 3 Tenma, the Sky Star, with this one. If only your opponent controls a monster, or if you only control an Earth monster, you can normal summon this card without tributing. If this card is normal or special summon, you can special summon one level 5 Earth warrior monster from your hand. You can only use this effect of Tenma, the Sky Star, once per turn. And once per turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a warrior monster you control, it's a quick effect. You can make this card lose 500 attack exactly, and if you do, negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. So once again, they got a good protection card, and both Hayate and Tenma work off one another for their effects, so meaning they work best together to get them out to the field. So with the effect negation and Hayate's own effect, you have plenty of options to go for with this deck, and especially since both of them meet the requirements for getting out your big fusion monster, which is Idaten, the Conqueror Star, which we'll get to later on when we go over the extra deck. And lastly, for the star monsters, 3 Kaiki, the Unity Star. With this one, if this card is special summon, except during the damage step, you can pay 500 life points to fusion summon one warrior fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. And during your opponent's turn, if this card is in your graveyard and you control a level 5 or higher warrior monster whose current attack is different from its original attack, quick effect, you can special summon this card. You can only use each effect of Kaiku, the Unity Star, once per turn. So Kaiku really does come in handy for your fusion summons if you don't have polymerization, since you can use its own effect, and the special summoning of this card as well help to just benefit your field swarm, which is the one thing you want to stay on top of with this deck. So make sure you get Kaiki out as fast as you can with the special summon for sure to make use of those effects. And like I said, we only have 3 star monsters currently from the booster pack, so tried to max out as much as I could with those cards. For the combat star monsters, I run 3 Super Quantum Red Layer, just an easy, good warrior special summon with this card to make use of, let's say, like Link Summon or something like that. Since if you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand, so even going first, it's a good card to get onto the field. Just remember that, because like I said, it will definitely help with your support in the deck. Same goes for 2 Earth Armor Ninja. With this, I like it, and I might even swap the numbers to 3 Earth Armor and 2 Red Layer. Just because with this card, if your opponent controls a monster and you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. So it's a level 5 Earth monster, which is another benefit for the deck, and you can basically just rely on this special summon and still have the normal summon of, let's say, one of your combat stars, basically. So very good to remember with this card and both of those. And I also run 2 Overlay Booster, another level 5 Warrior Monster. If you control a monster with 2,000 or more attack, you can special summon this card from your hand. And defense, you can only special summon Overlay Booster once per turn this way. And during your turn, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Target one face of Exceed monster you control that has Exceed material. It gains 500 attack for each Exceed material attached to it. So the easy special summon is one of the main reasons I run the Overlay Booster, just because it works also very well with the red layer on the field. So you can go for a Link summon or, Exceed summon or even the Fusion summon, because I dot in the Conqueror Star only needs 2 level 5 or higher warrior monsters to make. So that's why I wanted to meet with all the specifications for this deck for sure. And lastly, for monsters, just 2 King of the Swamp to help search out polymerizations. You have Kaiki for fusion, but just being able to rely on your polymerization definitely does help for your plays, and to remember that. And now, that's it for the monsters. Moving on to the spells, I run 3 Feast of the Wild level 5. You special summon up to 2 level 5 warrior type monsters from your hand and or graveyard, but their effects are negated. Also, they cannot attack. This card is just way too good in this deck, since the majority of the monsters we run are level 5 warrior monsters. So just easy special summons coming from this card, which is why I maxed it out 3. You really can't go wrong running this. It's just full benefit to you with all the different ones you run. And also 3 polymerization. Just if you don't have your combat stars in your hand, you can't really make use of Kaiki. This card just definitely does come in handy for the fusion. Plus we have a bigger fusion as well, Shura, the combat star, which needs Idotten and then 1 level 5 or higher warrior monster. So yeah, being able to use Kaiki's own ability and then using this to fuse into your combat star means that you just have more powerful plays to go for with this deck. And then just for more easy fusion summoning, 2 Fusion Recycling Plant. Now this is interesting because of the Feast of the Wild level 5, meaning you can discard 1 card to add polymerization. So you add the polymerization, and if you send a level 5 warrior monster from your hand to the graveyard, you can, obviously get it back with Feast of the Wild level 5, and then just fusion summon it with the polymerization you just added, and then, basically have those resources just mixed together. And then once per turn during the end phase, you can target 1 warrior monster in your graveyard that was used as a fusion material for a fusion summon this turn and add it to your hand. So all the more benefits of plussing back to your hand. And just for multiple attacks, I also run 2 Defusion. It just comes in handy to send out your send your fusion back and then give multiple attacks. It's a real good kill combo that I like to do with the deck. And I also run 1 Foolish Burial. This is so you can send a level 5 monster from your deck to the graveyard to make use of Feast of the Wild level 5, just because it's so good to run in this deck for that easy special. But you always want to make sure you have a monster in your graveyard to make use of for sure. And to wrap up the spell cards, 2 Cosmic Cyclone, just staple because back row killing your fusions is a big weakness of the deck, so just easy clears for sure with this card. You can even run MST or Twin Twister if you want. It's really player preference at that point. And 1 Monster Reborn just to finish off these spell cards. Really can't go wrong with this. I didn't run Soul Charge just because you have easier special summoning methods with my favorite card in the deck and Monster Reborn, so just remember that with these cards. And moving on to the traps, I run 2 Battle Guard Howling. When a warrior type monster you control is targeted for an attack or by an opponent's monster effect, target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the original attack of the face-up monster you target with this attack, and if you do, return it to the hand. Just a very good card to use with the warrior monsters you run in this deck, because your opponent's going to want to go big to get over your monsters, so using this can really just inflict big damage to them that can either finish them off or hurt them come next turn as well. And 1 Battle Guard Rage just helps by activating this card by targeting 1 warrior type monster you control. It gains 1,000 attack. Monsters destroyed by battle with it are returned to the hand instead of going to the graveyard. And when that monster leaves the field, destroy this card. So just another good protection stat. If you wanted to throw in a 3rd Battle Guard Howling, you could do that instead. I just wanted to test out the numbers with these 2 cards for sure in the deck. And to finish off the traps, I also run 1 Skill Drain. Now I run this because it hurts my opponent more than me when I have my big attack point monsters out on the field, which are a lot of the different ones, obviously, including the combat star monsters. So if I can take away their effects and just swing with my big numbers, it definitely benefits me more with this card. And lastly, for traps, just small Solemn Brigade, so 2 Solemn Strikes, Solemn Warning, and Solemn Judgment. Like I said, just more protection. Very beneficial and crucial if you can get off your monster abilities. So you want to protect from either, pesky opponents, monsters that you can't get over, and these cards definitely do come in handy there. And that is it for the main deck. We will now move on to the extra. I run 2 Idotten the Conqueror Star. I do want to, bump this up to 3, but sadly I only had 2 from the boxes I pulled. You need 2 level 5 or higher warrior monsters to make this card, and if this card is fusion summon, you can add 1 level 5 warrior monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Idotten the Conqueror Star once per turn, and once per turn you can discard any number of cards. This card gains 200 attack for each card discarded once per turn during the damage calc. If this card battles an opponent's monster with an equal or lower level quick effect, you can make that opponent's monster's attack 0 during the damage calc only. So a very heavy hit monster for the deck, and the attack difference comes in handy with the other Combat Star cards that we run, and also with Skill Drain. And this card, like I said, it's an easy fusion summon, so if you get this out and just have Skill Drain, you still have that 3,000 attack point beater to rely on for sure. And also 2 Shura the Combat Star. Shura the Combat Star involves, reducing your opponent's monster's attack down to 0, and it also has a special summon of Idotten when this card leaves the field, and just it's basically battling monster damage. They gain attack equal to the own level times 200 during the damage calc only, and if this fusion summon card you control is destroyed, you get that special summon of Idotten. So you just need Idotten the Conqueror Star and 1 level 5 or higher warrior monster to make this. So once again, easy options with your fusions in this deck with all the resources we're running to make the fusion summon. And then for the non-fusion monsters, I just run 2 Isolde. You run warrior monsters all in this deck, so very beneficial for this Link monster just to use for search and easy special summons. 1 Mrs. Radiant for the earth monsters we run. Nightmare Goblin helps with the additional normal if you can get it off. Underclock Taker, Nightmare Unicorn, Nightmare Phoenix, and Nightmare Cerberus, just for the Nightmare engine. It's very good with the deck. Borolo Dragon to finish off the Link monsters. And then for Exceed monsters, I have Volcasaurus and Wind Up Arsenal Zen Mao. But you can also run Constellar Pleiades. I find it to be very good in the deck. I just couldn't find where I placed my Pleiades. So you could either take out, the Goblin or the Underclock Taker, or the Mrs. Radiant, depending on what you want, one of the Link monsters, or you can take out the Zen Mao and replace it with 1 Pleiades and then take out one of the Links for a second one, just because it's one of the ones you definitely want to go into the most, and it's very easy to make with your easy special and normal summons you can get out with the deck. But yeah, that is it for the deck profile. Definitely try it out. It's a fun budget deck for sure that you can put together, and I'm sure you'll enjoy the playstyle. I always enjoy the different moves you can do with it for sure. Once again, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and until next time, Kira Twig out.